So what do you call yourself? Welcome to the LaTangela Show.
Hey, what can I do for you this fine day?
This is your destiny. Hot, hot, hot.
Right now.
Welcome to the LaTangela Show. Come on in and enjoy yourself.
Right now.
We gon' party like no one else. Welcome to the LaTangela Show.
Hey, and welcome back to another episode of the LaTangela Show podcast. I'm LaTangela Fay, your hostess, and you know it does my heart well to have this time together. We'll chat about this, we'll chat about that. I've got questions that need answers. You never know who's going to be in the hot seat or on the tan line, but this week we got a real heavy hitter. Now, from struggling as a reader to a Super Bowl champion that is now a superstar and a super champion of literacy. Yep, I'm here for it. And on top of that, we're also talking about digital equity in the midst of it all with none other than Malcolm Mitchell. He has this new book out for kids, and it is simply amazing. It's a world within reach. I want the parents to really invite the kids into this one because it's the level of inspiration and transparency that we all need. If there was ever a time that we need some of those extra gems, this would be it. We're getting back to school. We're getting back into the hustle and bustle of it all. And we don't want to get lost in the smoke, right? Well, Mylo, who is the star character in this book, is going to take us on an adventure that all of us can truly enjoy. And I want to say thank you to Malcolm Mitchell and his entire team for bringing this to fruition and allowing us that space to have this conversation. Now, of course, I love it when a great idea comes together and we can etch it out. But now it's your turn to help me etch it out. So my friends over at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, they're back at it yet again. The billboard competition, where we get to design the billboards, win up to $2,000 in prizes, and get the opportunity to see our billboards across the state of Louisiana. It's no secret this guy is the billboard king, and he needs your help because he's running out of ideas. So all you have to do is log on to getgordon.com/billboards, submit your information. It's for the adults and for the kids. I've got my etch and sketch, and last year I submitted with the stick figures. It didn't go over as a crowd favorite. So I think I have to go back to the drawing board, literally, and come up with something different. So submit your ideas as well. And while you're there, be sure to get all of the details on Gordon Gives and 10 Cares, where we highlight all of the nonprofit organizations and community stakeholders that's going above and beyond to get it done. When it comes to some of the random research, I have questions that need answers. Dear Summer, I know they're back in the school and the classrooms and yada, 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 but these lazy summer days, they're still upon us, my friend. But when do you usually take that lazy day? According to random research with Berkshire Blanket and Home, they said that Saturday and Sunday, those are our typical days to just sit there, be lazy, and on average, do much of nothing. But how much of nothing is too much of nothing? I'm glad you asked. They said on an average, a person spends 2 hours just lying in bed, an hour eating, 3 hours binge watching movies and TV, including the LaTangela Show. Shameless plug. You'll get those several times throughout this show, shamelessly. An hour or two reading. Scrolling through the phone tops the list, with all of the social media platforms, and 3 hours are spent doing absolutely nothing. Now, the next time you sit there and you're doing nothing, I want you to help us conduct this random research. How much time did you designate to this amount of nothing, to that amount of nothing? Who gets paid to conduct this random research? That's the real question. But sometimes if you're taking that field trip and you're worried about where you're going to stay, that's normal to me. Well, what's normal to others, according to Talker Research, is finding a nice place for their rat to stay while they're away on vacation. A pet lover has opened a hotel at a popular British beach resort for rats. for rats. You heard me right. 38-year-old Leanne Bryden is now offering beds to domesticated rodents at Arlo's Ratty Hotel. Make note of that in case you're traveling through and need somewhere for your little furry friend to stay. While the owners are on vacation, they happily take them in. The new business will ensure that long-tailed animals are given 5-star treatment during their stay in the seaside location. I don't think I've ever been envious of a rat until just then. What? So what kind of gourmet cheese y'all have over there? What time do I need to be there? I can't make this stuff up. Now, I'm the voice inside your speaker box, and I really appreciate the fact that you allow me to go on a musical journey with you every single day with Cumulus Media, whether it's Max 9401 or on the podcast, or if we're just out and about in the community doing some great things. Music is the soundtrack of life, but what does your taste of music say about you? These are questions that need answers. And according to random research with Psychological Science, it's a research journal. They stated that a study looking at the link between music and personality found that people who like more sophisticated music, like opera and jazz, they're more likely to be imaginative, sensitive in their feelings, intellectually curious, and seekers of variety. The study also found that people who like music that is relaxing, they're unpretentious. And then acoustic, like folk and country, they tend to be more outgoing and energetic. I was waiting on them to get to this rap. Like, hey, turn me up a little bit. Hey, just outgoing and ready for the party. What's up? Coming up, we do have more random research, and we're going to check in with none other than the author himself, Super Bowl champion, Malcolm Mitchell. So be sure to keep it locked right where you have it.
Hey, how are you?
Marvelous. How are you, Malcolm?
I'm doing well.
Good. Welcome to the hot seat and the tan line. I hope they warned you. You have about 45 minutes, maybe an hour and a half. Don't worry, I have it done before dinner, okay?
Sounds great.
No, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be here with us today. You have a lot going on, and congratulations with the new book.
Thank you. I appreciate you letting me get on today to talk a little bit about it.
Look, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you?
10. Anytime you get to take an idea that starts off as just a thought that nobody else can see, and you can make it tangible and bring it into reality, I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, I didn't do it by myself. I had an amazing illustrator and group of people who helped bring it to life.
Talk to you a little bit about that, because whenever you have a vision, it's hard for you to release a piece of that to be able to find the right team. What did that process look like for you in order to say, okay, this is my vision, I want to share this with you, help me bring this to life, and let us merge this together? How difficult was that?
Well, I feel every new idea starts off with a bit of tension. Why? Because it's in your head. Nobody else can see it. So you start sharing it, it sounds like a bit of gibberish until you start getting it out on paper, you start communicating a little bit more, and you start clarifying your vision for what the book can be. So, I'd say this process has been great. I have this experience with literacy in writing picture books. So when I brought this idea to the attention of, key stakeholders, I felt like they believed I had some insight on what I was talking about, and it didn't just come across as gibberish. And then I had to, communicate the message in a way to get the illustrator to want to be a part of the journey. So it's fun. My mom used to tell me that nothing worth having in life comes easy.
True.
So on the pursuit of kind of executing on an idea, you can expect some challenges, but overall, I'm happy, makes me smile, 10 out of 10.
I love it. I always hear them saying readers are leaders, and you have been leading in many industries for a long time. Just saying that if you're going to take it from the collegiate standpoint, you're a standout athlete. Then you take it to the highest level that they can take it as a Super Bowl champ, right? And now you're a champion for literacy. What does that journey look like for you? How did we get from the helmet and near sight with just whatever we can see through this little helmet to bringing this type of a vision to life and merging it?
Well, I watched my mom growing up, and regardless of the challenges that we faced in our community, I always witnessed her try to be the best version of herself. Wake up
Good.
every day and put her best foot forward. So while I had this athletic ability that awarded me opportunities, once I realized that reading was this electrifying tool, I wanted to embrace it, not to be the best athlete I could be, but to be the best person that I could be.
Right.
Once I learned that lesson, it became very important to me to share that magic of reading with as many people as I possibly could.
Yeah.
Now, what's happened in the last few years is as a digital equity ambassador for Cox, I learned that the same thing that I was trying to accomplish as a reader can be accomplished by being connected. But
Yeah.
of course, both of those come with challenges.
And one of the things that I love about that partnership that you have, you just mentioned it with Cox, they're always so involved within the community that depends on
Yeah,
them. And when you start talking about digital equity, they have things like connect to compete because they understand
that's
that
right.
in order for us to be able to compete, we got to at least be in the game. You know, we have to
That's
at least
right.
be top tier. Don't think of it on the back end of it. This is where we need as a starting point. So knowing that you have such caring hearts that's not only providing such a great service, but they're doing it in the spirit of excellence. That springs volumes for both of you. How has that been working with them and moving the initiative forward with the digital equity portion?
Well, it's been eye-opening. Um, what I understood from my work with literacy is there are some communities that have access to books, and there are some communities that don't have access to books, and that kind of results in the educational gap.
Yeah.
And I was well versed on understanding what that meant because that's the work I've been doing since truly 2014.
Mm-hmm.
When I became the digital equity ambassador and I started learning about digital equity, I realized that there are some communities that are connected to the internet and there are some communities that are not connected.
Yeah.
And the consequence for not being connected is exactly what you said. You're deprived from being on that equal playing field to have a resource that can help you grow, to help you learn, to be connected and understand that the world is truly within reach.
They accept the tips of your fingers.
Yeah.
And for one thing, it comes with a level of responsibility too, because where there's much access that has been granted, we're open and subjected to so many other things. So now that you
That's
have
right.
this illustrated book and you're bringing it to life, and I gotta ask questions about my guy Mylo. Some of the adventures
Yeah.
of Mylo. Can you please fill me in on some of the things that this guy is going to take us through page one until?
Well, the story starts off with Mylo coming on the scene, immediately telling you how much he loves to learn, how
Okay.
much he wants to grow, how curious he is as an individual. And the story starts off in the library where Mylo has the opportunity to explore as many books as he desires. But
Okay.
he quickly faces a challenge after he's read all the books. Now he's trying to figure out how else can he learn? Is there something else that will help him grow and be connected to what the world really has to offer? Well, thankfully, he he stumbles upon a pair of goggles.
Okay.
And with the help of a librarian, he places these goggles on and he's taken to new worlds.
Surely
New
he's
con-
not going swimming in the library. So these magical goggles, where are we going?
listen, listen, if you ever read a good book, by the time you close the book, you feel like you've been transformed into that world. Well, I'm
Yes.
learning, and I have learned that being connected provides that same level of connectivity. So while Mylo is in the library, he's having an opportunity to go so many different places.
I love it. I love it. And, not that long ago, all of the cool kids were hanging out in the library. You know what I mean? That was the after school hangout. We wanted to be there because that was our social thing. We were going there to learn, to do our homework, and to come across great books where representation truly matters. Mylo is not just someone that you can relate to, but for young men who needed that guy or these little boys who need that level of understanding in that moment, representation truly matters. And I appreciate you for not just thinking of Mylo, but allowing us to enter your world with these goggles and explore with you and Mylo.
Well, I appreciate that. I think my desire has always been to, do what my mom did for me, and that's allowed me to believe that anything was possible. And that,
Absolutely.
we're not restricted by the challenges we face in our community, but, embracing resources, education, connectivity as a means to empower our futures. So I'm hoping that Mylo sends that message of not just, to read, but, digital equity, digital safety, and just this desire to be the best that you can be.
Absolutely. And as we keep up with you and all of the great things that you're doing, how can we get the book? How can we keep up with all of your movements?
Yeah. You can learn more by going to cox.com/read. You can learn more about Mylo and his adventures, and you can also learn more about digital equity and find some resources that Cox providing for communities.
There it is. Malcolm, you are the real MVP, and don't you dare let them tell you different. I know you got more work to do, so I'm gonna let you chase the sun or let the sun chase you. But either way, get after it. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the LaTangela Show podcast. I sure appreciate you so much for spending this time with me as we unplug, we unwind, and we tap in. I love to highlight those who are making headline news for all of the right reasons. So often we open these different apps, we see these different outlets, and it's just a reminder that the world sometimes just goes so far out of control that we can't slow it down fast enough to highlight those who are doing some really great things. Well, now is the time that I need your help. It's time for us to get back to the schoolyards, and we're excited. But with 225bulletinboard.com, I need you to log on, nominate your teachers or your support team members that's going above and beyond in order to help us get it done. We'll select 2 winners each month, and those winners will receive $250 and some space on some of our digital billboards as a token of our appreciation. To say we see you, we appreciate you, and we cannot do this without you. So be sure to log on to 225bulletinboard.com, place those nominations, and make it happen. It's being brought to you by none other than Gordon Gills and Tan Cares. And I'm looking forward to receiving more of those nominations and learning more about our teachers and support team members that's really pouring into these babies. I love to call it nurturing the future in the present, because you should never underestimate the power of your presence. Yeah. So that's that spiel, right? So when it comes down to this random research, you see, I have to dig deep. And as things come across my desk, it gives me a, really, you don't say, more often than not. Did you know that more adults actually have this fear than not? It's called, and pardon me as we get through this together, ephibophobia. Have you ever heard of that? Ephibophobia. It's a fear of teenagers. Kid you not. Cultural and demographic researchers have long understood that nearly every generation of adults, they harbor mild forms of this phobia, meaning they look at teens as out of control or backwards in some way. Not innovative or just doing things differently. They just look at the teens as backwards. Wait a minute now. I'm going to give you a soft little buffer. They're not backwards. They're just thinking outside of the box, coming up with innovative ways to make it happen. They are challenging us as they work through their challenges. So there you have it. We're going to work through that phobia together. Being that we are back in the full swing of homework, projects due, research, last minute grind, I get it. I truly get it. Well, according to the End of Molasses classes, and this is coming in from Ron Clark, do your kids really like to do their homework in silence? Or do they need the TV or the radio on in the background? These are questions that need answers, and I want you to pay attention to this. Because if you tell your child to do their homework in complete silence, according to random research, that's a mistake. With nothing in front of them but their homework, kids feel like they're missing something. So they're miserable and they can't focus. If there's a little music or the TV is on in the background, like the LaTangela Show, giving them some random research and encouraging them to think outside of the box. Yep, shameless plug. You'll get that several times throughout this show. If the TV is on in the background, they're more relaxed and they'll study longer. And according to this, they'll retain the information better. Who knew? Who knew? Well, if you plan on going to that potluck or maybe even to a family get together, okay, San hit me up and she was like, Tan, if I take this expensive bottle of wine and I'm the only one there that partakes, they have half of a bottle left. Am I wrong for wanting to take it home? Yes. Yes, you are wrong for wanting to take it home with you. And I have random research according to Good Housekeeping that backs me up on this. Now, you bring a bottle of wine, but only half of it is consumed. It's never okay to say, all right, I gotta go, and pack it up and take it home with you. According to the etiquette experts, the answer is leave it there. A gift is a gift. And if you're taking a bottle of wine, it is theirs. If you're taking flowers, the flowers belong to them. If you're taking a tray of cookies and they only take one cookie off that tray, leave that tray where it was intended to be. Because I'm guilty of that too. Oh, I got a lunar foil and I'm packing my stuff up to take it with me. Oh, okay, cool. Hey, y'all don't want it? Say less. Stranger things have happened. Don't judge me. Help me. Man. Look, we're just doing our best to overcome passive aggression. And according to the research journal, if you're feeling a little upset, you're not alone. Say less. The average person gets irritated at least 30 times a day. You're not alone. At least 30 times a day. You look at somebody like, are you playing with me or are you serious? At least 30 times a day, you're like, hey, who just cut me off in traffic? See? Triggers, I know, but you're not alone. And it's okay, but you have to find ways to find your zen. Breathe in, breathe out. Imagine skipping through a patch of lilies or something. I don't know, but find your happy space because 30 times of aggravation per day, man, that's more than once an hour. Come on now, we got to do a little bit better than that. And I'm here for it. If the kids are asking you for a puppy, what breed is the right breed? According to Forbes, they had to chime in on this. Which dog breeds are the best and which are the worst? I'm glad you asked. A new ranking has actually found that the most behaved dog breed is Labrador Retriever, without a doubt. With the worst behaved dog being the Siberian Husky. I must scroll at least 12 hours just going through Siberian Husky singing and fussing and fighting back. So yeah, that's just some food for thought. Either or, let them babies earn that puppy in this season, or at least by the holidays. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to hang out with me today for the LaTangela Show podcast. You already know we got more random research, did you know, news briefs, and guests rolling through. If you would like to be a guest, all you have to do is submit your information. Drop me a line at latangela.com. This is being brought to you in part by Tantoon Productions, WWO, WAFB Plus, and Cumulus Media. I know you've got more to do, so chase the sun or let the sun chase you. But either way, get after it. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.